My second year in college began with boundless excitement. I was head over heels for a woman in my psychology class. We hadn't started to date yet, but I knew that was the next step. You could imagine my surprise when I arrived at the dorm cafeteria and saw her cozied up with a friend of mine. A friend I had introduced to her. I spent the next several hours sitting in my room sulking over the turn of events. It was a scene reminiscent of a dozen cheesy coming-of-age films, and here I was, living it out. The point is, everyone experiences bad days. We spend our time wallowing in self-pity over minor setbacks, rejection, and life's general unfairness. Each minute you spend in despair robs you of time better spent working on your goals, relationships, and personal growth. You probably have your own set of triggers, things that send you spiraling towards melancholy. Perhaps your article bombs, or someone leaves you a scathing comment on social media. Maybe a client cancels a contract, or your car craps out on the way to work. The limitless number of these triggers makes you wonder how you ever get through the day without something robbing you of joy. There's a natural feeling of gloom that hits when you fall short of your expectations. We may possess differing thresholds, but none of us are immune to disappointment. Sometimes that's fine. It becomes problematic when you cling to the negativity. It consumes you and distracts you from your purpose. That kind of residual despair makes for an unproductive and unhappy life. You can deal with this mental state in one of two ways. Allow time to do its job. A few hours, a solid stretch of sleep, or a few days of reflection and reconciliation. Or you can choose to shortcut your recovery. The shortcut I use began to unfold when I read the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. One quote from that book carries such profound meaning. It forces me to recalibrate my emotions every time I read it. It means so much to me that I've pasted it on my wall. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. This quote alone won't get you over a bad day, but the application of it will change the way you interpret disappointment. You own the response to whatever life throws at you. It's the only freedom you can never lose, to choose one's attitude in any given situation. That's all well and good, but in the midst of a tailspin, you need a practical tool, one you can apply in real life. You need a mechanism that enables you to change your perspective and gives you the benefit of immediate hindsight. When it comes to career, passion, and relationships, we tend to focus on the moment rather than looking at it as an arc that extends over decades. We blow up small events into life-altering catastrophes. You get a rejection letter and wonder where it all went wrong. Or perhaps a client said no to your proposal, so you sit on the curb, bury your head in your hands, and weep. Or maybe all you did was spill coffee over your shirt, and suddenly you're a stressed out, flustered mess. Focusing on the moment might work sometimes, but this method falters when your mental state requires a larger perspective. When you evaluate negative situations in isolation, you give your pain undivided attention, often at the expense of context. Some cases call for distance, looking at life from a 30,000-foot view. It's the aggregation of experiences, decisions, and reactions that determine how your life will turn out. Hindsight helps you reinterpret life's mishaps. It gives us the time and emotional distance to dispassionately evaluate our experiences. You can't gain hindsight with the flip of a switch, but with a shift in perspective and some self-reflection, you'll find it in no time. How might one go about doing this? Well, first, view the misfortune through the lens of your future self. How will you evaluate this setback 25 years from today with the benefit of hindsight, distance, and wisdom? Likely, you won't even remember the experience. But if you do, your failure won't seem like a big deal any longer. By then, you will have evaluated it with the context of a lifespan. It will seem insignificant in the grand scheme of things. The emotional pain will have dissipated, And you'll wonder why you had gotten so worked up over it in the first place. Recall Viktor Frankl's message. You get to choose how you respond. So if you know you're going to reinterpret today's events, why wait? Change your perspective and move past it now.